Hello students, welcome to CS Academy platform. In this session we will discuss the most important topic in strength of material subject for both civil and mechanical students, that is Mohr circle. And many students are asking me to do a topic on Mohr circle, and in this session we will discuss very clearly, and please watch this video till the end. Okay, and before discussing about this Mohr circle, first you should know what is meaning of principal plane and principal stress. Okay, without knowing these two things you will not understand the concept of Mohr circle. Okay, listen carefully, we will discuss about the principal plane and principal stresses here. Okay, to understand the principal plane and principal stresses, let us consider a mission element which is subjected to biaxial state of stress, that is a sigma x and sigma y on the both coordinate systems. Okay, and in this mission element there are different types of elements are there inside this element, and these elements are also will face the same stresses like this component. Okay, and why I am considering these small elements which are present in this bigger component means, okay, instead of focusing on the bigger component, if I analyze the simple element which is present inside this component, it will reflect the total component. Yes or no? So that let us consider this element which is having stresses like biaxial state here, sigma x and sigma y. Okay, and if you see here, if I draw this element as a 3D, three-dimensional like this. Okay, let us consider this is the plane AB and this is CD. Okay, AB, CD planes are there. If you see here, listen carefully, if you see here, the plane which is having this normal stress, the plane AB which is having normal stress. Okay, normal stress. What is the exact meaning of normal stress means? Any stress which act perpendicular to the plane, any stress which is having perpendicular to the plane, which is acting perpendicular to the plane is called normal stress. Okay, listen carefully, any stress which is acting perpendicular to the plane is called normal stress. Okay, any plane which is having only normal stresses, any plane which is having only normal stresses but no shear stresses, that plane is called principal plane. Principal plane, listen carefully, very important. Any plane, let us consider here the plane AB. This plane is having only normal stresses, that is sigma x. It is not having any shear stresses. Whenever the plane is having only normal stresses but no shear stresses, that plane is called principal plane. Okay, if you see here this face, that is this plane is having the sigma y, which is normal stress because it is acting perpendicular to this plane. So here if you see this plane BD, this plane is having only normal stress, there is no any shear stresses. So this plane is also called as principal plane. Similarly, this and this planes are also principal planes because there is no any shear stress acting in this plane. Okay, and here the definition, listen carefully, any plane which is having only normal stress without any shear stress, this plane is called principal plane. And I told you the normal stress means any stress which are acting perpendicular to the plane. Okay, and now the stresses which are acting in the principal planes, the stresses which are acting in the principal planes are called principal stresses. Principal stresses, listen carefully, the stresses which are acting in the principal planes are called principal stresses. Okay, here principal plane means any plane which is having only normal stresses are called principal planes, and the stresses which are acting on the principal planes are called principal stresses. Okay, listen carefully here. Principal stresses are again classified into two types: major principal stress, minor principal stress. Okay, that means if you see here, this is the mission element which is facing biaxial state of stresses. If I consider sigma x is greater than sigma y, let us consider sigma x is greater than sigma y. Okay, now if you see out of these two planes which are facing the two stresses here, out of these two stresses, this is also called as principal stress and this is also called as principal stresses. Yes or no? Both sigma x and sigma y are called principal stresses because these two stresses are acting in the principal planes. But which one is major and which one is minor means, if you see here, we are assuming sigma x is greater than sigma y. So sigma x is a principal stresses which is larger than the sigma y, so it is called a major principal stress. Okay, listen carefully. Sigma x is greater than sigma y, we are assuming here, but the sigma x is acting in the principal plane, so it is called as principal stresses. Because of this higher the value than the sigma y, it is called major principal stress, and sigma y fortunately become minor principal stresses. Okay, this is the total concept on the principal stresses and the principal planes here. One important point I want to tell you here means all principal stresses become normal stresses. All principal stresses become normal stresses. We can call all principal stresses are normal stresses, because if you see here, this is normal stress. Because of it is acting in a principal plane, we are calling it as a principal stress. Here also it is a principal stress, because here there is no any stresses acting in these planes. Okay, but if you see, all normal stresses are not principal stresses, Why? The reason, if you see here, let us consider, this is one mission element. It is facing biaxial stress of stress like this, sigma x and sigma y. But if I consider on shear stresses here, the sigma x is acting normal, that is a perpendicular to this plane. That is, let us consider this is the AB plane. The stress sigma x is acting perpendicular to the AB plane. Yes or no? So it is called normal stress. But because of it is having the shear stress, that is shear stress is not equal to 0 in this plane. So we can't call it as this is principal stress. Yes or no? So that all the normal stresses are not called as principal stresses, but all the principal stresses can be called as normal stresses, because in the definition itself we are telling that a principal stress is a normal stress which is acting in the principal plane. Okay, so this is the difference between these two. Note this point, very important. And next we will see about this Mohr circle. Okay, now here in Mohr circle we will discuss the most important topics like what is the need of drawing Mohr circle and how to draw Mohr circle, and why we are drawing this Mohr circle. Okay, all these topics we will discuss in this Mohr circle concept. Listen carefully and please watch this video till the end. Okay, and first if you see the Mohr circle, the definition for this Mohr circle is a graphical representation of, okay, listen carefully, it is a graphical representation of stresses that are developed in any oblique plane. Okay, here the word you are seeing this oblique plane. Oblique plane means any plane which is acting in between 0 to 90 degrees. Any plane which is in between 0 to 90 degrees is called oblique plane. Okay, listen carefully. It's a graphical representation of stresses that are developed in any oblique plane. Okay, and this is the definition just, okay, you will understand clearly in the next coming minutes. And let us consider a simply supported beam, okay, which is acting with a point load. Let us consider 4 kilonewtons. The length of this simply supported beam is, let us consider 4 meters. And if you draw the shear force diagram for this simply supported beam, okay, it will come like this. And here, because of it is nearer to this support and it is having this highest shear force, let us consider this is 3 kilonewtons like this. And from this point, let us consider this is 1 meter and this is 3 meters. And the shear stresses is like, shear force is like this 1 kilonewtons. Okay, this is the shear force diagram for this simply supported beam. If we see this shear force diagram, we can conclude that at this plane, at this point, from this 0 to 1 meter, it is having highest shear force. That means the failure of this beam will take place because of the shear forces from this point A to B. Yes or no? How you are concluding means, because of this diagram, this is a pictorial representation of this shear force. From this point, we are concluding that the failure of this beam with the shear force is taking place this plane AB. Yes or no? Similarly, if we draw Mohr circle for these stresses which are developing in this oblique plane, we can conclude that from this Mohr circle, wherever the maximum stresses are developing in this oblique plane, we can easily get and we can easily compare with its strength. Okay, so that we are drawing this Mohr circle. Okay, and to analyze this Mohr circle, let us consider a element which is loaded element like this, a biaxial state of stress sigma x and sigma y. Listen carefully. You will definitely get very good information from this video. And this is a sigma x and sigma y on the x and y coordinates. Okay, let us consider some shear stresses are acting in these planes like this tau xy. Okay, and here also some shear stresses are acting in tau ix, whatever it may be. Okay, now I am considering one oblique plane. I told you in the definition, it is a graphical representation of stresses that are developed in the oblique plane. Oblique is nothing but it is the angle of inclination in between 0 to 90 degrees. Now if I consider this oblique plane is from this point to like this, let us consider this is the plane AB, and let us consider this is the plane CD. ABCD plane is there, and from this AB plane it is inclining with let us consider theta is nothing but 45 degrees here. Okay, this BC plane, plane BC is nothing but oblique plane. Okay, and if you see here, I told definition oblique plane is nothing but it is the angle of inclination in between 0 to 90, but not 90. It is less than 90. So this plane and these planes are acting 90 degrees with each other. So these planes are not oblique planes. Okay, and if you see here, this is the plane BC. Okay, this plane is nothing but oblique plane, which is acting at angle of 45 degrees. Now in this oblique plane there exist some normal stresses and there exist some shear stresses. Yes or no? There exist some normal stresses and there exist some shear stresses. Now we should calculate these normal stresses and shear stresses. Okay, but what is the need of calculating these normal stresses and shear stresses? Listen carefully. Why should we calculate these normal stresses and shear stresses? Because before using this mission element into the application, we should know the stresses developed in this element, and we should compare the stresses with the strength of this beam. Whenever these two are not equal, that means let us consider the strength of the beam is 50 kilopascals. Okay, and the strength of the beam is 50 kilopascals. And if I calculate the stresses developed in this beam, in this element, if the stresses are like 40 or 30, whatever it may be, the stresses developed in this element is less than the strength of the beam, so we can use this on our application. Yes or no? If the stresses developed are greater than this 50, that is 60 or 70, we cannot use this element. So that to compare the stresses developed in this element with the mission strength, so we have to calculate the stresses here. Okay, that is the need of calculating the normal stress and shear stresses which are developed in this oblique plane. Okay, now the calculation procedure to calculate this normal stress and shear stresses, there are two methods out there for our nature. That is the first one with the mathematical formula, and the second one is a pictorial representation. As like here a shear force diagram, we can calculate this shear force is like sigma Fi equal to 0, that is the equilibrium equation, and or by the pictorial representation. Similarly here, to calculate the stresses that are developed in this oblique plane, we can use two methods. Those are the mathematical orientation and the pictorial or graphical representation. This graphical representation is nothing but of a Mohr circle. With the help of this Mohr circle, we can easily calculate these normal stress and shear stresses that are developed in this oblique plane. If you see the mathematical formula, that normal stresses, that is sigma theta equal to sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus sigma x minus sigma y by 2 into cos 2 theta minus tau xy into sin 2 theta. From this formula we can calculate this sigma theta, that is the normal stress that is acting on this oblique plane. But it is somewhat difficult. So we should know all these formulas, angles or everything. Okay, but this oblique plane which may vary, orientation of this oblique plane may vary like 46, 47, 48, 47 like this. So whenever these angles are varying, we should calculate this sigma theta and tau theta at all aspects of angles, that the angle may vary at each and every point like 45.1, 45.2 like this. So it is somewhat difficult to calculate this with the help of this mathematical formula. So further we are drawing this Mohr circle, which is easy to identify at each and every angle. Okay, now we will draw the Mohr circle here. Okay, listen carefully how to draw Mohr circle. I will explain very clearly, and watch this video till the end. Okay, now to draw Mohr circle in a pictorial form, let us consider one horizontal and vertical axis like this. Let us consider this is the horizontal axis and this is the vertical axis. Okay, on the horizontal axis we will consider normal stresses, that is sigma. On the vertical axis we will consider shear stresses, that is tau. Okay, I will tell the next coming minutes why we are taking this normal stresses on the x-axis and the shear stresses on the y-axis. Okay, don't be panic, I will definitely tell you. Okay, and here if you see in this mission element there is one normal stress, that is sigma x in the plane AB and sigma y in the plane BD. Yes or no? If you see here, always we know whenever the load is like a tension, we will consider it as a positive. Whenever load it is a compression, we will consider it as a negative. And similarly, for the shear stresses, if you see the shear stress tau xy, okay, it is making anti-clockwise rotation like this, anti-clockwise rotation. Okay, if you see this one on this plane BD, the shear stress is this one. It is making this mission element like a clockwise direction. Okay, like this, as tension is positive and compression is negative, here also for clockwise rotation of this mission element we will consider it as a negative. For anti-clockwise we will consider it as a positive. Okay, listen carefully, these sign inventions are very important. Okay, this tau xy is making anti-clockwise direction, and on the plane BD the shear stress is making clockwise rotation. Okay, we can take reverse also. For clockwise rotation we can take positive and anti-clockwise we can take negative. Okay, so now we will draw the this Mohr circle. Okay, see here this is sigma x, and here this is the positive normal x and this is the negative normal x, and this is positive shear stress and negative shear stress. Okay, now because of it is a tensile stresses, we will consider on the positive normal axis. Okay, let us consider sigma x is somewhere here. Let us consider this is sigma x. Okay, and on this plane AB there is some shear stress also, that is tau xy. It is making some anti-clockwise rotation. As we know, anti-clockwise rotation is nothing but a positive here we are taking. So positive shear stress axis is this one. Okay, and let us consider there is some shear stress, that is tau xy here. Let us consider tau xy, and from this point to this point represent sigma x comma tau xy. Listen carefully here. As we know, horizontal and x-axis and y-axis are there. Let us consider this is the point 1, 1. This 1, 1 represent horizontal direction 1 meter and vertical direction also 1 meter. Like that, similarly, this horizontal, that is the normal stress, that is sigma x here, and vertical, that is a shear stress, that is a tau xy. If you join these 2 points here, we will get one point, that is a sigma x and tau xy. Okay, and similarly, if you see here sigma y, this is also normal stress, that is a tensile nature, so we will consider as a positive normal stress is nothing but of, let us consider. And here if I consider sigma x is greater than sigma y, it's not equal. Okay, sigma x is greater than sigma y. Listen carefully, here I am considering sigma x is greater than sigma y, so that here sigma x is here, that is somewhat bigger value, and sigma y is here somewhat lesser value. See here sigma x is a bigger value, so I am considering here on this normal axis, and sigma y is somewhat lesser value, so I am considering here. Let's consider this is 10, this is 40. Okay, and this plane BD, the sigma y is I am considering here, and there is one shear stress that is on the plane BD. That shear stress is making this clockwise rotation like this. As we know, clockwise rotation we are considering this negative, so negative shear stress is here on the bottom of this tau. So we will consider this tau xy. Let us consider this is the tau xy. Let us consider this is tau xy, this is sigma y. And if we join these 2 points here like this, we will get this one as sigma y comma tau xy. This tau xy is nothing but of negative tau xy. Okay, let's join these 2. Okay, listen carefully. Plane AB we are representing here, and the plane AB there is a sigma x and tau xy. On the plane BD there is a sigma y and tau xy. Okay, after this just join these 2 points like this. Okay, there exists a point which this line meeting this horizontal axis. Okay, from this reference point, let us consider this is from this reference point, we will draw one circle like this. we will draw one circle like this. Okay, with the protractor we will draw one circle like this. Okay, see here, if the radius r, we are drawing this one circle like this. We are drawing, listen carefully, we are drawing one circle like this. We are drawing one circle like this. Okay, this is the circle which is joining these 2 points. This is the point AB plane, and this is the point BD plane. Now if you see this circle which is joining these 2 points from this center O, let us consider this center O, and whenever we are joining these 2 points, this line is making intersection with this horizontal axis. From this reference point, from the center, we are drawing one circle. This circle is called Mohr circle. This circle is called Mohr circle. Okay, now if you see here, the plane AB having the sigma x and tau xy. Okay, the plane, this plane is having sigma x and tau xy. These 2 stresses we are representing on this circle at a single point. Okay, listen carefully. The 2 stresses which is having at this plane AB, we are representing on this Mohr circle at a single point. This point is itself is called AB plane. AB plane. If you see here, the plane BD is having sigma y and tau yx. These 2 stresses we are representing on the single point in this Mohr circle. Single point. That means the plane BD itself is a point on the Mohr circle. Okay, listen carefully. That is, on the loaded element, the plane is represented as a point on the Mohr circle. Okay, see here, the plane on the loaded diagram is represented as point on the Mohr circle. Okay, that is, on the each and every point on the perimeter of this Mohr circle represent each and every plane in this loaded diagram. Listen carefully. Each and every point on this Mohr circle, on the circumference, on the perimeter of this Mohr circle, will represent each and every plane on this loaded diagram. Okay, if you see, this is a AB plane and this is a BD plane. The angle between this AB and BD plane is 90 degrees because these 2 are perpendicular to each other. Okay, that is theta is 90 degrees between AB and BD. If you see here, this is AB plane, the point represent AB plane, and this point represent BD plane. If you join these 2 lines, there is a one line which is horizontal, this is a linear line. Okay, and if you see the angle between these 2 planes, that is 180 degrees. 180 degrees. That is, on the loaded diagram, the angle between these 2 planes is 90 degrees, but on the Mohr circle, the angle between these 2 planes is 180 degrees. That means the theta on this loaded diagram is equal to 2 theta on this Mohr circle. Yes or no? Here theta is 90 degrees, but here the angle between these 2 planes is 180 degrees. That means theta on this loaded diagram will become 2 theta on this Mohr circle. Okay, these 2 points are very, very important. Very, very important. Listen carefully. Here, each and every plane on this loaded diagram will be represented as point in the Mohr circle, and the angle between any 2 planes, that is theta, will be represented as 2 theta in this Mohr circle. Okay, these 2 points are very, very important. Listen carefully here. Now there is a one oblique plane, that is a BC, which is making an angle of 45 degrees with this AB plane, and we will represent this oblique plane in this Mohr circle. This oblique plane BC is making 45 degrees with AB. Okay, now here this is AB. Okay, this is AB, and here if you see, as we know, theta on this loaded diagram will be 2 theta on this Mohr circle. As here this oblique plane is making 45 degrees with AB plane, but if you want to represent it on this Mohr circle, it will be 90 degrees because 45 into 2 is nothing but of 90. So from this AB plane, it will make a 90 degrees angle, that is 90. Okay, this is nothing but of this BC plane. This is point is nothing but of BC plane. As I told before, plane on this loaded diagram will be point on the Mohr circle. So here this BC is nothing but of a oblique plane, which we will represent as a point in this Mohr circle. It is making an angle 90 degrees with AB plane. Okay, 90 degrees with AB plane. Okay, I hope you got the point here. Okay, these 2 are very, very important, and each and every plane on this loaded diagram will be represented a point on this Mohr circle, and the angle of any oblique plane which is making angle theta with this any plane will be 2 theta on this Mohr circle. Okay, these 2 points are very important. And if you see here, this is the Mohr circle. Okay, and from this Mohr circle, from this point origin to outside of this Mohr circle, there is a one stress. Okay, out of this all stresses existing on this Mohr circle, this is the maximum normal stress. Okay, above this one there is no any stresses are existing. From we go from this point to along this one, the stresses will reduce. Yes or no? So this stress is called maximum principal stress. Okay, otherwise we will call it as a maximum stress. And if you see here, this is the minimum stress. Let us consider this is sigma 2, this is the minimum stress. Okay, from this point to beyond this one there is no any stress, so it is a minimum stress and this is the maximum stress. Okay, so if we see here, at this point shear stress is 0 because it is a horizontal axis. On the horizontal axis vertical component is 0, so at this point shear stress is 0, tau equal to 0. Whenever we know from the previous session, I told the previous minutes, whenever shear stress is 0, that plane itself is called principal plane. And I told here, each and every point on the Mohr circle itself is called as plane. So that this point is a plane. Yes or no? At this plane, shear stress is 0 and there exists one normal stresses. That too it is a maximum stresses. Because of at this point, at this plane, shear stress is 0. This plane is called a principal plane. The stresses which are existing is principal plane is called principal stresses. Okay, that means sigma 1 is a maximum principal stresses. Sigma 1 is nothing but of maximum principal stress. And if you see here also it is on the horizontal axis, and here tau equals 0. Whenever tau equals 0, that is shear stress is 0, then we call it as a principal plane. Okay, on this plane, that means there is a point on the Mohr circle, we call it as a plane. And on this plane there exists one stress. Okay, because if it is a tau equals 0, we will call it as a principal plane, and the stresses which are acting on the principal plane is called principal stresses. But because of it is a minimum, so it is called minor principal stress. Okay, this is the maximum principal stress and this is the minor principal stress. Maximum principal stress and minor principal stress. Maximum principal plane and minor principal plane. Okay, there are 2 points on this horizontal axis, maximum principal plane and minor principal plane. And the stresses are maximum principal stresses and minor principal stresses. And if you want to calculate here, there should be use some formula. But if you see here, directly we can calculate. Directly we can say by seeing this one, we will tell that it is a maximum principal stress and minor principal stress. But without any formula, within seconds we can calculate this one. So that is the need of Mohr circle here. Okay, and if you see here, this is the stress, that is the shear stress. At this point there exists a maximum shear stress, and here also there exists a maximum shear stress. Okay, along with these 2 maximum stress, there will no any maximum stress on this Mohr circle. Okay, you can see at this point, if you see shear stresses, it is less than this point. Okay, so at this point there exists a maximum shear stress and maximum shear stresses. Okay, these 2 are maximum shear stresses, this is positive and this is negative, and these 2 are the maximum normal stress, that is a principal stress, maximum principal stress and minor principal stress. On this Mohr circle, each and every point represents a plane. Okay, and we don't know exactly where the maximum stresses are existing in the loaded diagram. Okay, and here, so because of that one, if we represent all the stresses on the Mohr circle, we can easily calculate. So that is the need of Mohr circle here. So what is Mohr circle exactly? It is a graphical representation of stresses that are developing on the oblique plane. Okay, to represent the stresses which are developing on this oblique plane, we will represent on the Mohr circle. To calculate the stresses which are developing on this oblique plane easily. Okay, on this maximum shear stress plane, as because it is a point that will represent plane, on this maximum shear stress plane, the normal stress may be negative, may be positive or 0. Okay, if you see here, there is a normal stress that is positive, and if you see here, this is also maximum shear stress plane, and at this plane the normal stress is negative. Yes or no? That means at the maximum normal stress plane, the shear sorry, on the maximum shear stress plane, the normal stress may be positive, may be negative or 0. Okay, and if you see here, there are 4 points exist on this Mohr circle. This is the maximum shear stress, sorry, maximum normal stress plane and maximum shear stress plane, minimum normal stress plane, maximum shear stress plane. Listen carefully, these two are maximum shear stress planes, and these two are the principal planes which is having principal stresses, maximum principal stress and minor principal stresses. Okay, and each and every point on this Mohr circle represents oblique plane. Oblique plane. Okay, each and every point on this Mohr circle represent oblique plane. Yes or no? And if you see here, this is oblique plane, and on this Mohr circle, each and every point represents oblique planes. And here, if I ask you one question, what a point inside the Mohr circle represents? Listen carefully. What a point inside the Mohr circle represents? It represents nothing, because each and every plane is represented on the circumference of the Mohr circle. What is the need of this inside point? It will represent nothing. Okay, and sometimes some interviewer also will ask this question. Okay, what inside the point in the Mohr circle represents means it will represent nothing. Now we will see calculation of this radius of Mohr circle. If you see here, this is the Mohr circle. Okay, if you see here, from the center, this is radius, this is radius, this is radius. Yes or no? So if you see here, this is sigma 1. Now I will draw again this Mohr circle here. Let us consider. Okay, to understand clearly, this is the Mohr circle. Okay, this is the Mohr circle, and this is sigma 1 and this is sigma 2. Okay, this is center O, and this is the radius of Mohr circle. From this center, this origin to this point, this is total sigma 1 and this is sigma 2. If I subtract from sigma 1 to sigma 2, I will get this value, that is the diameter. That is, diameter of Mohr circle is equal to, diameter of Mohr circle is equal, D equal to sigma 1 minus sigma 2. Yes or no? This is diameter. From this total value, I will subtract this one, I will get this one. That is the diameter of Mohr circle. Okay, if I want to radius, I will do like this, sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by 2. That is half of the subtraction of this major principal stress and minor principal stress. Yes or no? So this is the radius of the Mohr circle. And sometimes, as we know, previously we drawn this one AB plane and this is BD plane. And if you see here, this is the plane, AB plane, and this is the radius. Listen carefully, this is the radius from O to AB. Okay, and this is a sigma x, because this AB is a sigma x comma tau xy. Yes or no? Sorry, this is a tau xy, the vertical axis tau xy, and horizontal axis sigma x. This is a sigma x. Yes or no? From this point to this point it is a sigma x. Yes or no? Now we want this value. We want this value. As we know, from this point origin to this point it is a sigma x. Yes or no? And from origin to this point it is a sigma y. Listen carefully. It's totally sigma x. You can see here. You can see here. This is sigma x, total value sigma x from this point to this point. Okay, this is total sigma x. And from this point to this point it is a sigma y. Yes or no? So if I see this total sigma x minus sigma y, sigma x, that is, let us consider this is point O, this is point 1, and this is, let us consider point 2. From 0 to 1 there is a sigma x, and 0 to 2 it is a sigma y. If I subtract from sigma x to sigma y, I will get this value. Yes or no? And if I do sigma x minus sigma y by 2, I will get this value. Yes or no? That means here, if I do to find this value, that is sigma x minus sigma y, that is sigma x minus sigma y, I will get this value, this value. This center is in between these 2 points, so I will divide by 2, that is sigma x minus sigma y by 2. The value of this line is nothing but of sigma x minus sigma y by 2. Yes or no? So if I draw one triangle like this, let us consider the same triangle what I drawn here. If I did, this is the radius of Mohr circle, this is the radius of Mohr circle, and this is tau xy, tau xy. Listen carefully, this is tau xy, because from the horizontal axis to vertical direction it is tau xy. Yes or no? And this value is sigma x minus sigma y by 2. From the Pythagoras theorem, this is hypotenuse square is called side square plus side square, that is tau xy square plus sigma x minus sigma y by 2 whole square. So we want radius, that is nothing but of square root of sigma x minus sigma y by 2 whole square plus tau xy square. This is the radius, how we got this value. Okay, many students will by heart this one, sigma x minus sigma y by 2 whole square plus tau xy square, square root. That's it. This is the reason how this radius of this Mohr circle came. Okay, so suppose if I give you the area of Mohr circle, if I give you the area of Mohr circle, what will you find? What will you find? See here, as we know, area of Mohr circle is pi r square, as r is the radius of Mohr circle. Okay, and here if I want to get the radius r equal to square root of area by pi, and as we know here, if you see, this is the radius of Mohr circle. This is the radius of Mohr circle. If you see here, this is the total sigma 1, this is sigma 2. If I subtract total sigma 1 minus sigma 2, I will get this diameter of Mohr circle, as I told before. This radius is nothing but of sigma 1 minus sigma y by 2. That is, radius is area by pi value, that is nothing but of sigma 1 minus sigma y by 2. From these two values, if I know area value, I will easily find the maximum principal stress and minimum principal stresses. Yes or no? Sometimes they will ask questions like this also. Okay, and one more thing here, if you see, this is the radius of Mohr circle. This is also radius of Mohr circle. This is also radius of Mohr circle. Like this, each and every point from the center to outside is the radius of Mohr circle. If you see here, there exists a maximum shear stress plane. Yes or no? Maximum shear stress plane. That is, the value from the center to outside is a maximum shear stress, and similarly, this maximum from center to outside is a radius. That is, radius is itself we will call it as a maximum shear stress. Yes or no? Radius itself we will call it as a maximum shear stress. Okay, and here finally we conclude that radius is itself is a maximum shear stress. From the area we will calculate the maximum and the minimum principal stresses. Now the most important question I told before, that is why we are considering normal stress on x-axis and shear stress on y-axis, and why always the center of the Mohr circle present on the horizontal axis. Okay, we will discuss here. Let us consider, actually we know the Mohr circle is like this, the center is always present on the horizontal axis. Okay, and let us consider if it is not like this, let us consider the Mohr circle is present in the first coordinate like this. Yes or no? If we see here, this is the maximum principal stress, this is the minor principal stress. Yes or no? This is the maximum shear stress, and this is also maximum shear stress. If you see here, this is the maximum principal plane line. At this point, it is a plane which is having maximum principal stress. As we know, I explained at the starting of the session, principal plane means there exists only normal stress and shear stress will be 0. Yes or no? Principal stress means there exists only normal stress and shear stress will be 0. But if you see here, if you take the diagram, if you take the Mohr circle like this, above or below this horizontal line, if you take this point, at this point, if you want to call it as a principal plane, it should be shear stress 0. Yes or no? If you see here, there exists some shear stress, but here shear stress is not equal 0. How can we call it as a shear, this maximum principal plane, or how can we call it as a principal plane? Because it is existing a shear stress. There exists a shear stress, it is not equal to 0. How can we call this point as a maximum of this principal plane? That means to exist a principal plane, there should exist a shear stress 0. Okay, yes or no? So for that, that shear stress is 0 exists only on the horizontal axis, because on the horizontal axis y coordinate is 0, so that we are considering this Mohr circle as a center on horizontal axis. If you take center on the horizontal axis, this is the maximum principal stress. As we know, principal stress means shear stress should be 0. On this axis, shear stress is 0 because it is a horizontal axis. On the horizontal axis, vertical plane is 0. So that we are not considering this Mohr circle above or below on this horizontal axis, and the center should be present always on the horizontal axis. If someone asks you a question, let us consider this is Mohr circle, and this is Mohr circle, and this is Mohr circle, and this is Mohr circle. Out of these 4 Mohr circles, which one is correct? If I ask you, which one you tell? This is the correct, because center is present on the horizontal axis. This is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Okay, this is behind why we are considering horizontal axis sigma on x-axis and tau is y-axis. If I tell this one at the starting section, you will not get this point. So that's why I am explaining this one here. So whenever you are getting doubt during the watching this videos, don't skip the videos. Please watch till the end. You will get very good information. Okay, and now we will do somewhat more circles for the different types of loadings. Let us consider this is the element. This is the element. There exists a biaxial state of stress like this, sigma x and sigma y. Okay, for this Mohr circle is like this. Don't by heart the Mohr circles. Just give the concept here. See here, this is sigma x. That is because tension positive. That is positive here, sigma x, and this is also tension positive. If let us consider sigma x is greater than sigma y, that means this is sigma x and sigma y. Okay, from this center we will draw one circle. This is Mohr circle for this loading diagram. Okay, if we see here, if the loading diagram is like this, let us consider this is tensile nature, this is compressive nature. Okay, if we take Mohr circle, this is sigma x and this is sigma y, and if I consider sigma x is called sigma y, but it is a negative, it is positive, and positive we will consider sigma x, negative we will consider sigma y. From this center we will draw one more circle. This is Mohr circle for this loading diagram. This is tensile and this is compressive. And if you take a pure shear case, that is there is no any normal stresses, only shear stresses are existing on this loading diagram. Okay, and in this case if you see, this is positive shear stress and this is negative shear stress, or what it may be. This is making anti-clockwise direction, this is making clockwise direction. As we know, anti-clockwise is positive, clockwise is negative. So this is positive shear stress and this is negative shear stress. From this center we will draw one more circle like this. You can think that from these two diagrams there exists a similar Mohr circle diagram. Why not? Fortunately it came similar. We can't tell it as a this is so wrong. Okay, from the loading diagram we are drawing the Mohr circles. But fortunately these two are similar, so we can't do anything. Okay, and sometimes they will give different types of loadings and they will ask you different types of Mohr circles. You can draw because you know all the concepts I explained clearly here. And this is total about Mohr circle concept. And please go through this video if you not understand, and please watch this video again and again. You will definitely get best information, and believe me, it's a very important topic for all the competitive exams of both civil and mechanical. So please don't skip this type of topics. If you have any doubts, please comment in the comment box. I will respond definitely. I will do best videos for you. And thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe the channel. Please share the videos and like the channel. Thank you. Thanks a lot.